Hi guys and welcome to the channel. Today we're gonna do a build of 4K editing PC, which is also capable of high frame rate gaming. We will post the links to all the components in the description. And at the end of the video, we're also gonna do a quick test of Fortnite on different settings and see what kind of frame rate we can get out of the gate. For your convenience, we're gonna put the indexes to all different parts in the video in the description as well. Hope you enjoy. Let's get into it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be building a 4K video editing PC that's also capable of pushing out 100 plus FPS on popular titles such as Fortnite and Call of Duty. Firstly, we're going to be looking at our CPU. Now this is an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X. This is capable of 3.6 of a base clock and up to 4.4 GHz for a boost clock. You also have overclocking at your disposal, and of course it does come with a nice RGB fan already included. For our motherboard, we went with the MSI X570 Gaming Plus. This comes with the latest chipset for AMD Ryzen 3rd Gen CPUs and supports the latest M.2 interfaces. And as a nice touch, it has Mystic lighting built in. And to come along with our motherboard, we have the Western Digital Black M.2 NVMe, and this comes with 1 TB of storage. For our RAM, we decided to go with the Corsair Vengeance 16 GB of memory. This is a DDR4 3200 MHz, and we found it to work very well with our AMD Ryzen 7 3rd Gen CPU. Next up, for our graphics card, we decided to go with the AMD Radeon 5600 XT. After extensive research, we found that this was competing with the GeForce 2060 gaming graphics card. However, we decided to pick this one up due to its considerably low price and due to this particular model having all of its latest BIOS already installed. And to get everything up and running, we decided to go with the EVGA 600 watt power supply. This will be plenty of power to provide for our CPU and our graphics card, and it is relatively quiet. However, this is not modular, but with good cable management, this should not be a problem. And finally, housing all our components, we have the Phanteks Eclipse. After research, we found that this provides very good airflow and comes with removable dust filters. This also comes with a side tempered glass panel to show off all of our Mystic lightings and RGB. Overall, this is a brilliant build quality and perfect for our setup. Let's get into unboxing these components. So now we've unboxed the case, and I'm going to take a look at the filters that it comes with. So firstly, on the top, we have a magnetic filter that just goes on the top of the PC case, and that's just easily removable due to its magnetic features. Then towards the back, we do have a dust filter under here for the PCU, just to keep everything just nice and clean in the case. Let's get on to unboxing the motherboard now. So now we've got a motherboard, let's start unboxing the CPU. Okay, so now we're going to install the CPU, but make sure before you do that, you either have a static band on you or you touch something before you handle the CPU and the motherboard, something that's metal and grounded, just to be safe. Okay, so now that we've installed the CPU and the fan and connected all the wires that are needed, we're now going to install our RAM. so now we're going to start installing the M.2. Okay, so we've now installed our M.2 NVMe right here, and later, once we have fitted the motherboard into the case, we will also screw on this case shielding. Okay, so we've now taken apart the case, and obviously the things that come with it. We have a little accessory box, just open it up. We have all our screws and even some quite nifty cable management wires, just to route all our cables towards the back of the case. At first glance, really impressed with the case. Also, really impressed with how well it's designed, all the fans, how magnetic everything is. It's just really simple and easy to use. Okay, and so now we're going to unbox our 600 watt EVGA power supply. Okay, so in the box, come with our main cable that we'll plug into the wall. That will come onto it later. Next, what might look a little bit frightening at first, but we have all of our cables that we plug into our motherboard, our GPU, and powering our whole system. On the bottom here, we have our fan. Hopefully it's going to be real quiet so we don't have a noisy PC. Here we have where this main cable is going to plug into and our on and off switch. Now let's put this in the case. Firstly, let's take a look at our CPU fan connectors. Our first main cable is plugged into the 4-pin CPU fan connector, and we have an RGB fan, therefore it comes with 2 additional cables. We decided to use the USB as it will give us fan control and RGB control. So now that we've got our motherboard connected to our case, let's talk about how to connect it to the power supply. First, we have our 24-pin, that is the largest connector that comes with the power supply. Next, we have our CPU connectors that plug into the CPU Power 1 slot. Next, we have our PCI that will connect to our graphics card that we are waiting to install. In just a moment, we will show you how we cable management all of these cables. This is our cable management so far, and we decided that we're going to tuck away all the cables underneath, as there's plenty of space and plenty of room to keep them all hidden away. Overall, we're quite pleased with how the cable management has turned out, as cables that we're not using is nice and safely stored away and out of the way. And now for the final piece of the puzzle, we have the AMD Radeon 5600 XT. Let's get into the unboxing. Okay, so now we've come to the end of the build. We're just going to put on our tempered glass side panel. Overall, really happy with how the aesthetics came out towards the end. The RGB lighting is a nice touch. Even though we did not have a modular power supply, the cable management wasn't too hard. And overall, just really happy with the overall build quality. And yeah, really impressed. Okay guys, so now we have finished building our PC. And we're just going to see if it will post and if we've put everything together correctly. Well, let's see. And it does look like everything is up and running inside the case. Oh, it looks like we have power and it is on. All's looking good. So we have now updated our BIOS and we've turned on the AXMP and our DDR speed is correctly recognized. We're not going to be overclocking our PC just yet, just so we have stable systems to install our operating system, and then also our games so they don't really crash and we get blue screens, and then we'll experiment with overclocking certain parts of the PC later on. Okay, so now we have finished the Windows update, done some fiddling around with, Google Chrome, installing some games, and we've installed Fortnite now just to have a quick look at what our benchmarks we're going to get and how much FPS we're looking to be getting. We haven't overclocked anything so far, so everything that we've got apart from the RAM that we've put to its max frequency, everything else is still on its normal and base inputs. So let's just fire up Fortnite and see what FPS we're going to be getting. Okay, so now we're in our Fortnite settings. As you can see here, we've capped it at 60 FPS. So this would be for your standard console players who will be capped at 60 frames per second. And obviously on console, you do not have all of these graphics settings. However, we set everything apart from the viewing distance on low, just to resemble console as much as possible. Now, as you can see, you probably won't be able to see on camera, but the frames aren't that great, and you do get a few jitters in the actual FPS now and again. Not ideal for gaming overall. However, it's not too bad. As you can see in the top right, we do have 60 FPS. Now that's with our base settings for our CPU, graphics cards. No real overclocking going on. But now, if we can just go in and have a look, if we push this frame rate up to, say, 165, if we just cap it, as you can see, we're easily getting 165 FPS, not a problem. Remember, all our settings are still on low, but now we'll just have a look and see what it's going to be looking like on epic quality settings. Okay, so now we're back in our settings menu. Now if we just scroll down here to our quality presets, obviously ours is on custom now, but if we just switch this on to epic, this will switch all of our settings such as effects, processing and everything to epic. And we are, just to recap, at 165 FPS. Hit apply. Go back. You can see now that as we're moving around, we are getting, for everything being on epic quality and no real overclocking going on, we are still holding at least 160 plus frames. Obviously with some slight movements and stuff, we are decreasing, but we're still steadily staying at least over 140 FPS. Okay, so now we've just put all our settings back to how the quality presets were. So we just wanted to see what it would be like if we put our frame rate to unlimited. That means there's no cap on the frame rate, which is not really ideal for gaming. However, we just want to see how our graphics card will react. As you can see here, I mean, it's easy, it's pushing about 500 FPS. Obviously with some slight movements and stuff, it's still going down to about 400. But for no overclocking on CPU's graphics card, I think this is quite amazing for the price that we did pay for this graphics card.